The Republicans are getting increasingly pathetic. They have just impeached Alejandro Mayorkas, who is the Homeland Security Secretary over the border. I think that this is not a good move for them, but I'll answer all that in just a second. So for those of you that don't know, I'm News Dude. I'm my dude on TikTok. And yeah, we started this YouTube about a month ago. If you guys want to subscribe, if you guys want to go follow me on Patreon and subscribe over there, I'd appreciate it because for some reason we got denied monetization. But I'm trying to get into the rhythm of making long form video content. So please bear with me as we figure this out over the next month or so. If you guys have suggestions, please leave them in the comments. But yeah, please bear with. Most of what we do or what I do is over on TikTok, which is a few minutes. So this is very clearly a ploy by the Republicans to try and deflect attention away from the Trump trial. But I think it can backfire for a couple of different reasons. One, Trump supporters aren't paying attention to the trial anyways. And even if they were, they wouldn't care. I've talked to enough Trump supporters. I know they don't care what's said in the trial. Most of them can't comprehend what's going on. And this is from my experience of talking to, I don't know, I debate every day. So tens of thousands, it's over 10,000 people at this point. They just don't, most of them are not going to care. However, you give Mayorkas an opportunity to get out in there the spotlight where you're going to have clips of him talking about why the border is the way it is and how Republicans even voted against the bill that would have given him support, even though they're the ones that wrote it. The Republicans, I don't know how they can argue that they're going to, or how they're going to impeach Mayorkas when they just voted against the border bill. The Republicans wrote the border bill, right, which was the appropriations bill. They wrote that to include Ukraine, Israel, Taiwan, and border funding. And then when it went through the House, they denied it. So the Senate Republicans were all for it, and the House Republicans voted against it, just to be contrarian, maybe? I'm not sure. So saying that it's the Democrats' fault when you have the Republicans that are voting against funding is a bit of a difficult sell. It really is. And I think that if you get him up in front of the American public, where you're going to have all these clips that are going to be flowing around about why the border is the way it is, it gives them a lot of opportunity to clarify. But I would say that most people don't even know who Mayorkas is, right? So it's not going to overshadow the Trump trial. Most Americans have zero idea who Mayorkas is. It's the Republicans that do. Moderates, for the most part, I would be willing to bet, have no idea who he is. But yeah, we see this thing where, this is what it's become. The Republicans have absolutely no policy. They have no plan. They have no way forward. They don't have leadership. They don't have money right now to run any sort of reasonable campaign. They're lagging behind the Democrats. They have half of what the Democrats have on hand. And the same thing with Donald Trump, half of what Joe Biden has on hand. So the Republicans are really in a position right now where they don't have any policies, right? And nobody can really tell me any of the policies they have. I mean, they do have policies, but all of these policies are really, really unlikable. Targeting the LGBTQ community, overturning Roe, taking away rights, taking away government funding and government programs. All of these things are insanely unpopular, so they can't really go to bat on these issues, right? So the issue that they had to go to the bat on, that they completely whiffed on, was the border. And the whiff was allowing that bill to be written and then not passing it. If they had passed it, sure, gives Biden a political win. But it also gives the Republicans a political win, because I don't think that they're planning on winning the major election anyways. I don't think that they're planning on winning the presidency. But if they can go back into their districts and say, we got this border deal passed, it would have been beneficial for them. But now they can't do that. That can be ran against them. So the Republicans at this point have just leveraged themselves on these absurd, the border crisis for so long. They can't detach themselves from it, but they have no leadership. So they completely messed up. And they completely messed up in having no leadership to tell them, like, this needs to get passed. This absolutely has to get passed. And because Mike Johnson doesn't know what he's doing. Kevin McCarthy's out. Donald Trump is now, and his daughter-in-law is now in charge of the RNC. So they don't have a cohesive plan. And I think this goes to talk about a larger issue going forward with the election, right? Where the Republicans don't really have anything to run on. They don't. And the things that they have had to run on, they've completely screwed themselves on. They can't run on abortion anymore. They were running on the border, and now they've detached themselves so far that they're not going to be able to connect with voters on this issue. But anyways, I think that this is a completely desperate attempt by the Republicans to try and keep their voters from paying attention. But if Donald Trump is convicted of a felony count, I don't really think it's going to matter. I think that, if Donald Trump is convicted of a felony count, it spells disaster for the Republicans in every way imaginable. But yeah, this is all political theatrics. It's not going anywhere. Mayorkas is not. Nothing's going to happen to Mayorkas. And yeah, I also don't remember them impeaching the Homeland Security Secretary under Trump when it spiked in 2019 and we had more immigration in over a decade. But now I guess they want to waste our time. They can't get anything done. Why not waste our tax dollars?